to see it through to the end. And what we'll be doing now is we move to another war game on that site, which is known as Krypton. So this is going to be based on. Can you guess what it's going to be based on? It's based on cryptography. So that's why it's called Krypton, because they needed to look for something that was similar in name to that. So they named it Krypton. Let me just go to that website.
So again, this is a website.
Yeah, same website.
Krypton? Same website over the wire.
Yeah. I'll also like take a look at other websites. I mean, there are lots, and we'll also be working on CTFs which are hosted online. You don't have to like download anything. We'll also be working on those, like on Try Hack Me. Like I think we discussed that website in the CH course as well. So
Yes, sir.
okay, we'll be solving stuff there as well. Okay, now when we go back to over the wire, so Bandit was sort of just there to like help you build up your skills with Linux. But there are other war games, other themes for these war games, and I'm going to be working on this one, which is Krypton. Okay, so now while this, as you can see, only has a few levels, and even from even that we are not going to be completing in its entirety, because this is going to take more time than your Bandit does. So it's not as simple as Bandit, but still it's fun. So we'll see how to do this. Now it tells us welcome to Krypton. First level is easy. The following string encodes the password using base 64. So okay, this is the password in base 64, and you have a couple of options regarding how you can solve this. So how would you solve this kind of thing?
In Bandit, we have used the password, right, sir? Like by passing, we can save this password in the file. Then with the less than symbol, we can pass to. No, that is NC, right? Okay.
That is NC.
Yeah, directly we can log into the Krypton at the script this, and port we can use.
Login using what exactly?
It's a such this given port. So how we are using for the Bandit, same thing, same format will
The
be using.
format will be similar. Of course, the details will change. Format will be same, but I'm just saying, how do you get the password from this? Because it tells you that the following string encodes the password using base 64. So this is base 64 encoding, and you need to get the password from this. So what do you do?
There was a base 64 command was that it?
Yes, okay, there was a command. So how do I use it? Okay, first let me just go back to the home directory. Okay, now how do I use that command? Okay, let me just copy this
Yep.
string. Now, yeah, what do I do in this case?
base 64, then we should write a option, then file, in file and out file they have mentioned in the syntax.
Base 64. If you just press enter, it
And
will run.
decode, we need to use decode.
You need to use decode. Okay, but if I just say base 64 and this decode, and I just provide this value, it's going to say that there is no such file or directory.
We need to echo the base 64 at whatever they have given,
Yes.
then base 64 hyphen decode.
So what we need to do is echo this value that we get, or this base 64 value, and what operator now?
Pipe
Pipe, and we pipe it into base
base
64.
64
Either you can use
hyphen
decode or you can use hyphen
or
d.
hyphen d.
Yeah, it's the same thing, just different, a different way of writing it. Okay, so this is your first password, and this password is Krypton is great. So that's the password. Now what we do is, so this is the password to log into Krypton.labs with username Krypton1 using SSH. Okay, so SSH Krypton1 at the rate,
Krypton,
yeah, this.
krypton.labs.
So just copy it rather than typing it out. And the port in this case is
2231.
2231, I think. Yeah, 2231.
2231. Yeah.
Okay. So port is 2231. And we are logged in now. Let's see what we get. Sorry, what the process is to the next level. Okay. So the password for level 2 is in the file Krypton2. It is encrypted using a simple rotation. It is also in non-standard ciphertext format. When using alpha characters for ciphertext, it is normal to group the letters into 5 letter clusters regardless of word boundaries. This helps obfuscate any patterns. But that has not been the case for this file because it's saying that it is in non-standard ciphertext format. Anyway, okay, we'll think of about the format later on. So this file has kept the plain text word boundaries and carried them to ciphertext. Okay, anyway, let's just take a look at the file.
Yeah.
ls nothing. Okay, yeah, for Krypton, I think files are in a different directory. Yeah, you can find the files for other levels in Krypton. Okay,
Krypton.
okay, ls cd Krypton. Krypton 1 ls. Okay, so there's a file Krypton 2 and there is readme. Let's see what readme says. Welcome to Krypton. This game is intended to give hands-on experience with cryptography and cryptanalysis. The levels progress from classic ciphers to modern, easy to harder. Although there are excellent public tools like Cryptool to perform the simple analysis, we strongly encourage you to try and do these without them. The first level is easy password. Okay, this is the same thing. And the file is called Krypton 2. Let me try accessing it, reading it. Mike, try disconnecting and reconnecting. Maybe it's just a Zoom issue. Yeah, sure.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm able to hear you.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Might have been a network issue or something with Zoom.
I don't know. Suddenly it was telling your mic is not working.
Okay. But it's working fine now. I'm able to
Yeah.
hear. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what we were doing is we went to that Krypton directory and we found different directories for different levels. So, we went into the first one, Krypton 1, saw that there were two files. There was this README file, so we read that. And this does not really give us any more details about the level. So, it just says uh, the same thing basically that the website says. So, we looked at the other file, the Krypton 2, and this is the data within Krypton true 2. So
Sir, why did you check? Didn't you check that Krypton 2 in the Krypton directly itself?
pardon.
That Krypton 2 in Krypton directory, you have
Hmm.
Krypton 1, Krypton 2, and Krypton 3.
Yeah.
So, with this, like, we don't have access to Krypton 2 here in this directory.
Okay, not in this one.
All are root access.
You can go into Krypton 2, but you can't access the files there.
Okay, okay.
So there's no point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had that readme file and the Krypton 2 file. When we saw this file, this is the content of this Krypton 2 file. So we have been told that the password is in this file. Okay, we know that it is encrypted using a simple rotation called
Rotation.
ROT13.
Not 13.
Okay, so they've mentioned it in this file that it is using ROT13. Whenever you're solving any challenge using cryptography, ROT13 is one of the first things that should come to mind, because it's fairly easy to create a problem with ROT13. You don't really have to, you know, make a lot of effort. So the first or the easiest level of a crypto challenge almost always uses ROT13. Okay, we know that this is ROT13. So how do we solve this now?
We used where did we use this? Something. Yeah. With a grep, we used capital A to Z and small a to z, and again next parameter is from a to n, then m to z, and small a to n and m to z for rod 13.
Okay, the first thing is we did not use grep, we used translate.
Translate. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Second thing is, don't memorize the command, don't memorize the parameters. Okay, we'll use
Yeah.
whatever we need to, okay, on that parameter. Even if you don't get the correct answer the first time, you can like try multiple times, see what you get. Don't
Yep.
just memorize what you're doing, however.
Yes.
Understand it, try to understand what we're doing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is echo this thing. Okay, not echo. Why would I need echo? Simply say this cat krypton to tr translate, and you provide two different parameters.
Yeah.
The first one is your source, like what is the source that you're seeing, and the second is your destination, like what do you want to convert it to. Okay, so think of it as a source destination kind of thing. So in the first parameter, now we don't really need to specify lowercase here because there is only uppercase. So we can forget about lowercase. Now this is ROT13. If I apply ROT13 once again, it becomes ROT26, which is basically going to bring us back to square one. So I'll just apply ROT13 again, A to Z, and we know that A becomes N, N to Z, and we need to loop back around from A again and A to M. If I do this, this is the result, and
Rotten.
level 2 password rotten.
Rotten.
Rotten is the password. So rate localhost. Yes, password is rotten and logged in now. So for the next level, the hint that we have says that ROT13 is a simple substitution cipher. Okay, we know that already, but no problem. Substitution ciphers are a simple replacement algorithm. In this example of a substitution cipher, we will explore a monoalphabetic cipher. Monoalphabetic means literally one alphabet, and you will see why. Okay. This level
Sorry,
contains
one alphabet, monoalphabetic cipher means.
monoalphabetic cipher.
Oh, no.
For example, you are replacing one character by the other character.
Okay.
And the key, basically, mono alphabet, it's called mono alphabetic or single alphabetic because the key is a single alphabet, or you could say, sorry, the key is a single number. Let's say you have wrote 13. The key is 13, and that is different from poly alphabetic cipher. But in this case, I don't know why they are mentioning this again, because we've already done rot 13. They're just mentioning a little bit of theory based on it. So the password for level 3, now it says that okay, they've given this example that if you have some plain text and there is a key, so A is replaced by G. In this case, the key would be 6. The key would be 6 in this case, because from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's the sixth character after A. So you're shifting by 6. So in this case, the key is 6. In rot 13, your key is 13. So this is just as an example. Okay, this is not the key for this level. Okay, don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now it says that in this example, A in plain text is replaced by G in ciphertext. So for example, the plain text bad becomes H, G, J. Okay, this just a further continuation of the same example. And it says that the password for level 3 is in the file Krypton 3. Of course, it would be in Krypton 3. Makes sense. It is in 5-letter group ciphertext. So now this is different from the previous level, and word boundaries are being ignored in this case.
What is ignored, sir?
Word boundaries.
Word boundaries.
Okay. Uh, Let me show you what that means in the context of the previous problem. So in this case, you see that you have 4 words in this line.
Yes.
This is your plain text. There are 4 words, level 2, password rotten. Now, word boundaries mean, like, let's say the first word, now this has 5 characters. The second word has 3, the third word has 4, and 6 for the last one. So, the spaces or these groupings of these characters have been based on the words themselves. Usually, what happens is if you convert it to ciphertext, you keep them in blocks of 5 characters, regardless of what the actual words are. In the previous level, that was not the case. They had preserved the word boundaries from the plain text. So the first word is 6 characters, so all the 6 characters correspond, sorry, 5 characters, so all the 5 characters corresponding to that in the ciphertext are together. Then you have a space, then 3 characters, then 8 characters, and then 6 characters. But this is not a standard ciphertext format. In a standard format, you'd have groupings of 5 characters each, regardless of these word boundaries, regardless of what your words are and how many characters are part of that word.
Like here, the five character word, what is that? Five character grouping is done means like if three, again it will take a two from that, like space and three it will consider and it will make that group.
Space it will not consider.
Okay.
Space is not considered. Only the characters are considered in ciphertext. Even in cryptography, you don't really talk about spaces.
Okay.
So let's say if this was standard ciphertext format, then you would have YRI. RY, this one, because it has five characters anyway. The next one would be these five, this GJBCN. Then you would have the next five,
Yeah, got it.
and the next five, and so on. Okay, that is standard ciphertext format. But
Okay.
the previous level did not follow that. They had specifically mentioned that as well. But it's saying that in this level, it is in five-letter group ciphertext. It is encrypted with a Caesar cipher. You do not have direct access to the key. However, you do have access to a program that will encrypt anything you wish to give it using the key. If you think logically, this is completely easy. Okay, this is actually easy. It's not very difficult to do. What we need to do is, okay, what we need to do is we need to, okay, I'll just say that when we see the file itself. Additional
Yeah,
information, there is an encrypt binary
yeah,
which will look for the key file in your current working directory.
yeah. Already we have seen that in
Yeah,
Krypton
I
2
saw that.
file that
Yeah.
script is there.
So that file will look for the key file, and therefore it might be best to create a working directory in temp, and in there a link to the key file. As the encrypt binary runs setuid Krypton 3, you also need to give Krypton 3 access to your working directory. So this is quite a weird configuration that they have done. I'm not sure why they did that, but okay, for whatever reason, they must have done that. Now what we need to do is, okay, let's first, where are we currently? We are in home Krypton 2. We need to go to this directory and 2. Okay, so let's see whether this readme file has any additional information. Mm, nope, not really. This is the exact same thing. Okay, and besides this, we have the file called Krypton 3. There is a key file which includes the encryption key, but of course, it is not going to be accessible to you. And there is this binary. It's a setuid binary which runs as Krypton 3. I don't know why they use that. Probably because it needs to access the key file. Yeah, that's why it does that. Okay. So if you want to look at the ciphertext directly, you can do that by saying Krypton 3. You can cat it out. So this is your ciphertext. Okay, it does not really look like they've completely ignored spaces or anything. Okay. Anyway, even if they have ignored that spaces, okay, it will not really matter to us with regards to how we solve this. Now, what we need to do is we'll need to create a directory in temp. Why? Because when this program works, when this by encrypt binary works, it will create a ciphertext file, and that file won't be able to exist in this directory because permissions. So we'll need to go to temp, make a directory there, and okay, what do they say? You go into that directory and you create a link to the key file. So what we do is we create a link and Krypton um, to key file or that.
Sir, with link file we can access. The file, because
Link is
we don't have access to that.
think of it as a shortcut in Windows.
Okay,
In
but
Windows, you have
as
shortcuts.
we don't have access to that file, right? So,
We don't want to like copy paste it, so we just create a link to it.
okay,
Because
but the Krypton 2 has access to open that file. That I'm asking.
to access this
Permission,
file, key
permission.
file,
Yeah,
okay, key
permission.
file. Krypton 2 does not have permissions to act like to open the file, but you can create a link to it that is not depending on the read write permissions.
Okay.
Okay, so you can create a link, and if you take it the permission, take a look at the permissions for the link. Now this link will have all permissions for Krypton 2,
Then like this,
but if
any
we are,
file we can create. What is? Okay, okay. Permission denied. Yes, now
yeah,
okay.
because if you don't like, this permission is just for the link that is created, not for the actual file.
Okay.
Okay, so even if you try to do cat key file or that, it is going to deny you any permission. Otherwise this would be a huge security loophole,
Yeah. Okay.
right, that you could just create a link to any file and just access it.
Yes.
So that's why it, I know that's what you were trying to, ask
Yeah.
that point, that why don't we just do that, because it's that's not how it works. So but you can think of it as a shortcut.
Okay.
Okay, because they've created that encrypt binary in such a way that it will look for the key file in your current working directory. Now we need to have this temp directory as the current working directory because we need to get the output file. So that's why we needed to create this link, because they say that the binary will look for the key file in your current directory. So we also need to give Krypton 3 access to this directory. Okay, so chmod 777 all permissions to everyone, and dot represents the current directory. So if you say ls hyphen l dot, okay, yeah, that does not really work. If you go back, now you say ls hyphen l. Oh yeah, it cannot really, it cannot even open ls here because they've blocked that. Oh yeah, that's, so now what do we have here so far? We just have key file or that, which is not even a file. It's just this
Link.
link. Okay, after we are done with the permissions, what we can do is we can create a file here and give that as an input to the encrypt binary. So what I'll go to do is nano.
So, and that current file is given to that encryption file, or means binary actually.
Yeah. So we are trying to figure out what the key is.
Hmm.
Now we don't have direct access to the key file, but we have access to this encrypt binary. Like we can run that binary, and whatever plain text I give it, it will give me the corresponding cipher text. So I can create a file here called plain text, and I can simply write A B C D E F G H, and now I can run that. So that encrypt program, it's in Krypton, Krypton 3, and it's known as simply encrypt. Oh, sorry, not Krypton 3, Krypton 2. It's known as encrypt, and as an input, it will take this file, which is known as just plain text. So it ran without errors. Let me check. Okay, so now you see there is a file created called ciphertext. Let's try to read it. This is our ciphertext. MNOPQRST.
Yeah. Okay.
So A becomes M, B becomes N, and so on.
Yeah.
So in rot 13, A becomes N. So this must be rot 12. Now we know the key. Now that we know the key, which is 12, I can go back to this Krypton, Krypton 2, and now I can work on the Krypton 3 file. I know that the key is 12, and now I know that I can work on this file and I can simply get the output for it. So the first thing I'll do is cat, not key file, Krypton 3. Okay, and what is the command that I'll write here now?
TR.
tr. Okay, and the parameters.
Um, we have to use both the things, right, sir? Like we don't know it is a capital or small. So we can use A to Z capital and A to Z small also.
We just need to use capital here because see, we saw that
Yeah,
this
yeah,
file,
there was a capital, yeah.
it was only capital, so we don't need to bother with the lowercase.
A to Z. And
A to Z. Okay, that's it for the first one,
yes,
for the first parameter. And in the second one,
M to Y,
M
Y, and Z to N.
to
Y, not Y. Yes, not Y.
Z,
X. Huh,
M to
okay,
Z,
yeah.
and A to N.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct, sir. E to N.
M to Z, A to N. Okay, let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Does not look like the key.
Yes.
Can you tell me why this did not work? Okay, let me just get the door. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Think why this might not have worked. Think about what I said earlier when we were solving rod 13.
Yeah.
Okay, so were you able to find out what the issue is?
No, sir.
No?
We need to check with other options also here.
Okay, let me just explain what is happening here. So when we were solving rod 13, I told you that since with ROT 13 the case is if you apply ROT 13 again to something that is already in ROT 13, then you get ROT 26, which is basically the same, like you return to the same thing back again. Now, when we use this command with the ROT 13, what we are doing is we are applying ROT 13 to the original text. So if you are doing this, the command that we just ran, we are applying ROT 12 now. So currently, what has happened is it was already in ROT 12. We applied ROT 12. It's now in ROT 24.
Okay.
Now, what you can do is you can either apply. Now, just think of it as if it's ROT 12. If you perform like 26 minus 12 is 14. So if you perform ROT 14 to something that is in ROT 12, you'll get the answer. And what do you do for ROT 14? You write instead of M to Z, you write O, A to.
Sir, already we have you told that that uh, password is having it's in ROT what do you say ROT 12. So we have applied again ROT 12 means it's totally ROT
24.
24 turns, right?
Hmm.
So then 26 minus what do you say 12.
Hmm. 14.
Why it
Actually,
is 26 minus 14?
total number of characters in the English alphabet is 26.
26, yeah.
If you rotate every character by 12 positions, you'll be back to the same thing. Okay. If you rotate A by 2 characters, you'll reach C. But if you rotate A by 26 characters, you'll reach A again.
Yeah.
Okay, now with this command, there is actually a slight mistake that I made. Okay, if you're starting this from M, okay, M to Z, then what comes before M is L. What is, so this should be L. But of course, since that character must not be in this text, so we get this value. Now for ROT 12, if we apply ROT 14, how would 14 work? 14 would work starting from O, because if ROT 13 is A becomes N, then ROT 14 becomes O. And what comes before O is N. So if you do this, you get Caesar is easy, which is the password for the next level, for level 3.
After applying this rotation, it was there 12 rot 12. Then again
Hmm.
we applied, it came to rot 24.
This is not saved anywhere. This is just the output that you see on screen. You're
Okay,
not
okay.
modifying the content of the actual file.
Okay, okay, yeah. Got it. I thought it is modified. Okay.
No, no. See, what we are doing is we are outputting it and we are passing it to the translate command. So it's telling us the output of this, but it's not making any modifications to the actual file.
Okay.
So
To reverse that, what we are doing, we are out of 25, we are removing that key, subtracting key, so we'll be getting that reverse value, reverse key,
yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
yeah.
You can also try the other way to do this, the actual reverse process with TR, and I'm going to leave that to you as homework. Try to see what that is. Try to find out what that is.
Yes.
Okay. Without applying a rotation again. So just reversing the process. Okay. I mean, this method is easier, of course, but if you know that, then that is also going to benefit you.
Sir, actually, I'm setting up that Linux in other machine. But when I am trying to what do you say set up the Kali Linux, I'm getting only 32-bit Debian. I'm not getting 64-bit one. The
In a
selection.
in a virtual machine.
Yes, sir.
So with the in a virtual machine, if see a virtual machine is an entire separate system. So even if you are running a 64-bit host OS, your guest OS might be 32-bit.
No, sir. I downloaded 64-bit OS only.
Okay, you downloaded the 64-bit version. Okay,
Yeah.
and what is it saying?
Not a that selection like when we go to this one. For a new one,
Mhm.
for a new machine. So there is an option for selection, right? Linux and all. So in that we select Debian or something. We select right. This Debian 64 or Debian 32. So I am not getting a Debian 64. I'm getting only all whatever options operating system. So it is showing it is a 32-bit only.
Okay, VirtualBox is not showing you that option. Okay,
Yes, yes.
now actually, the thing might be there is a service known as Hyper-V for Windows. If that
Sorry,
is
sir.
running, that might be
Hyper
causing this issue.
Hyper V.
Yeah,
Where I can check that, sir?
okay, go to Control Panel, all programs, all Control Panel items, programs and features, and there is this thing where called Turn Windows Features on and off, or you can simply just type that uh, in your search bar.
In control panel, systems and securities.
Okay, you don't even need to do that. Just type Hyper-V. Start typing Hyper-V in your search bar.
Hyper V. I need to type Hyper V.
Hyper-V. Okay, take a look at this link that I'm sending you in chat.